Hey guys, for today's video, we're gonna go over how to safely brighten previously lightened blonde hair. For this service, we're gonna be using Schwarzkopf Blonde with 20 volume and Olaplex. To start the service, we're gonna go through and evenly spray our K18, and we're gonna make sure we have it a little bit heavier through the ends and around the face where the hair tends to be a little bit weaker. This is actually my very first time ever using K18, so I'm really excited to use it on this client because I've been doing her hair for about, like 5 years now, and we've gone all the way from like super platinum consistently to more lived in to a heavy foil. So we've done so many different kinds of blondes, so I'm excited to see what this will do for her hair. When you're brightening up previously lightened hair, make sure that you have your regular heavy saturation on the new growth. And through the ends, you can see that I'm lightly swishing it through that line of demarcation. Again, I've been doing her hair for a very long time. I know what her hair is capable of. If this is somebody who I never would have done her hair before, I definitely would have done a strand test to see, can her hair handle being lightened through the already lightened ends. So make sure you guys are double checking your clients and having a good consultation beforehand, and make sure like what is their, oh my gosh, can you hear my cat meowing? Make sure that you're asking them like what is their bleaching history, how much have they lightened their hair in the past, and make sure that you just do a strand test just for your knowledge, because you know sometimes people aren't honest. So do a strand test, check and see what the ends will do, if it's okay to bring bleach through the ends or not. My bleach that I use is the Schwarzkopf Blonde, and I usually use 20 volume. Know that I use my Olaplex, and then I also water it down a little bit because it swells a lot. So truly my bleach, because it's watered down, it's not like a true 20 volume. It's probably closer to 10 volume. So if you feel more comfortable with your clients, if you need to have a bowl of bleach for the new growth and then like a 5 volume bleach for the ends, do whatever you do to feel comfortable, and make sure you charge accordingly also. So if you need to have 2 different bowls of bleach, one through the new growth and one to like run through the ends to brighten them up, by all means do what you feel is best. You'll see that I'm applying my bleach all the way practically to the line of demarcation where the new growth is. Before I run it through like the midsection, I'm going to pull the hair up and I'm going to pick apart these little blonde pieces, and I'm going to pull these aside to make sure that I'm not running bleach over those little, even though they're tiny strands, those tiny strands add up. Imagine if you have a lot of breakage and just those tiny pieces, that's going to be a lot of breakage throughout the whole head. So make sure you're being diligent with your work. Pick those tiny strands up, just set them aside. See how I'm just like pulling it out of the foil. There's not any bleach going through like the line of demarcation. And we're gonna go back, tighten our foil up to the scalp again, and I was able to pull those ends out of the foil and then run my bleach through the midsection, and then you can see that I left out the blonde ends through that foil though. So make sure you're not running bleach all the way through the very ends of the hair and where it's already like a level 10. If there's a little bit of like a little bit of warmth left in the hair, you can lightly swish it through without heavy saturation. If you do a lighter saturation, that's probably going to dry out a little bit faster. So you don't have to worry that it's going to process as long. Like as we go through the new growth, we do a really heavy full saturation of bleach. You'll notice when I get through like the midsection of the hair, I'm doing a lighter application. That way I don't have to worry about it like, you know, causing any damage. Make sure that you're always lifting the hair up, making sure you're pulling the ends to the side, and those teeny little pieces of hair again right there that I'm holding, make sure that you're pulling those out of the foil so that way they don't process with the rest of the hair. Remember that these blonding services are specialty services. This is not a typical foil. This is a very in-depth service. Just doing the foil application alone took me over 4 hours for the whole application. And I had somebody tell me once, like, why am I taking so much time to go through, like, right here where I'm pulling up these teeny little pieces of blonde hair? Why am I doing that? Nobody's gonna notice it. I notice it. It bothers me. I want to make sure that I'm doing quality work, that I'm not causing any damage to my client's hair. My clients don't mind that they have to sit here for, her whole service total was like 6 hours. My clients are okay with sitting in the chair for that long if they know that they can get the results that they want. Generally speaking, you can't do magic on everybody depending on what their hair is, but my clients are okay with sitting in the chair for an extended amount of time if they know, for one, they're going to get their desired result, and then two, their hair is still going to be healthy. I'm not rushing. I'm not just like taking a foil and running bleach through the whole length of the hair, the whole like heavy saturation from roots to ends. That's what's going to cause damage in your client's hair. And then that's why their hair breaks off. And then that's why you got to fill their hair with extensions or whatever. Just make sure you're taking your time and don't let somebody tell you like, hurry up, or you're taking too long, or why are you being so like meticulous with your foils? Because trust me, there are clients that will appreciate it. No, not everybody, and that's fine. The service isn't for them, but you will have clients that will seek you out because you do a good job with your clients, because you're using quality products on them like Olaplex and K18 and whatever other treatments you want to use. I throw all of this in my service. I don't ask my clients, do you want to use Olaplex? Do you want to use K18? Do not give your clients the option, because if you tell them that it's going to be like $100 upcharge or $60 upcharge to the service, they're not going to understand the value, and they're probably just going to be like, oh no, that's okay, not this time. And then their hair is going to be damaged. Upcharge the service and then just throw it in there. I don't give my clients the option. I don't ask. I just do it. And then my services are a little bit more expensive because, again, this is a specialty service. We're using high quality products that you're not going to have an option about. And it's just going to be enrolled into the price. So the service is an investment. The products that you use are an investment, but you'll have loyal clients coming back to you because they know that they can trust you to do a good job with their hair. For this part of the service, if you're going to go through and brighten the ends, make sure you're using either a very light, weak bleach. This bleach has been sitting here pretty much for this whole back of the application. Do not go get a fresh bowl of bleach and bleach through the ends. The reason why I'm not waiting until I have my full application done is because this bleach has been sitting in a bowl through this whole back half of the application. So it's already really weak. It's already been sitting for probably like 2 hours. So I know that this bleach is not going to cause any damage to the ends of her hair. It's not strong enough to do that because it's been sitting for too long. And I'm also not doing like a heavy saturated application through the ends of her hair. You'll see like through the foil, it doesn't really stick to the foil because the saturation is so light. So make sure when you're going through the ends, don't run it all the way through the ends of the hair. Just kind of that midsection where it's kind of like, still maybe like a level 8 or whatever. Just paint through the ends, not all the way through the very tips of the hair, but just that midsection. Again, going around the face because this is where the hair is a little bit more fine and weaker. I'm using bleach that has been sitting for a while. I'm not using fresh bleach on this area or the money piece. And you can see that I'm doing full saturation at the roots, but then I'm swishing really lightly, turning my foil so that I just get, can brush it lightly through the hair that needs to be like brushed through, but not so that I'm brushing it all the way through the line of demarcation. Again, you can see here where the dark, it's an old weave, and I'm going to turn my foil comb and just swish it through those dark pieces. And do not run it through the ends. That stresses me out when I see people do it. Okay, we're gonna finish our foil through the top section, and then as soon as we are done foiling through the top section, honey, we are going right to the back again and checking those foils. These services require your full attention. Again, 4 hours of foiling. I absolutely do not double book. I don't have other clients come in while my client is processing, because we got to check these foils immediately in the back because they've been sitting for so long, and pull our foils out. So I don't walk away. I do not put your clients under a dryer. You will have damaged ends. It would be broken. I absolutely do not ever put my clients under a heater. That is just so much heat directing into like one area. I know that they have those fancy ones that like move around the head. I'm sure those are fine. I don't use them. If I feel like I need to use any heat, I'll put a towel on top of their head so it insulates the heat a little bit more. So we are going to pull the foils out and then use a brush to wipe the bleach off. We were taught in beauty school to spray the foils out with bleach or with water. Don't do that, because wet bleach continues to process. So you want to dry the bleach out by just like rubbing it out with a towel. Right now you can see that I'm pulling the foils out, and because some of those ends are a little bit warmer, her roots are nice and bright, the ends are a little bit darker and a little bit warmer. So you can see that I'm dragging the bleach through the ends. I'm combing it through the ends, but I'm just rubbing the roots out and everything else so that it doesn't get any transfer onto the the weaved out hair or the subsections. So make sure you're wiping off as much bleach as possible, and then running it through the ends just lightly. That way it like refreshes those ends, and then pull that hair aside. So we're just going to continue to comb the bleach through the ends to refresh those ends. This bleach is old, it's watered down, it doesn't really have any lifting power, but sometimes the ends of hair that have just been like bleach gets kind of it just kind of gets dull a little bit. Sometimes you just need to run some of the old bleach through the ends just to brighten them up, just, for like the last 10 minutes when you're pulling the foils. So here's her full application after we've pulled all the foils out. You can see her hair looks nice and healthy still. Before we tone, we're going to use Olaplex or whatever conditioning treatment you like using on your clients. And then we're going to finish with our K18, and here's the end result. Look at how we trimmed off just like half an inch, and she's so much brighter. She's still super healthy. If you guys want to see the full application, toning, all of that stuff, leave it in the comments and let me know, and I will do the full service to this video. Thanks for watching.